I created the perfect system.
The thing about perfection is that it's unknowable. It's impossible, but it's also right in front of us all the time.
Now that Tron Ares is out in theaters, receiving mixed reviews from critics and fans alike, and with a less than stellar box office, the future of the franchise now seems more uncertain than ever. But what if I told you that Disney had the perfect fourth Tron film just sitting on the shelf, almost ready to go, that could revitalize the film series, and all they had to do was one thing? Let me explain. In December of 2012, it was revealed that a sequel to Tron Legacy was in the works and being written by Jesse Wigatow and David DiGilio, each working on a different draft of the film respectively, whose rumored title was Tron Ascension. Then, in September 2013, Legacy director Joseph Kosinski confirmed that there was in fact a sequel in the early stages of development that would deliver on the ideas set up in Legacy. This was followed by a brief reconfirmation of the sequel's development by Bruce Boxleitner in 2014, who hinted at the corporate conflict that would take place at Incom between Sam Flynn and Edward Dillinger Jr. However, the progressive string of good news and updates came to a screeching halt, and the film experienced what could only be described as a production whiplash. Because in March of 2015, the movie was greenlit, with Kosinski returning to the helm of director, and Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde reprising their respective roles, with filming to start in Vancouver in October of the same year. But just a few months later, in May, the film was reportedly cancelled while in pre-production, and the rest is history. Ascension was then scrapped, overhauled, and reworked largely into what is now Tron Ares. So we know the timeline, but what exactly do we know about the film itself? And the answer is, we know a surprisingly fair amount about the movie considering we're talking about something that was cancelled nearly 10 years ago. Tron Ascension had its key players set to return with Hedlund, Wilde, and Boxleitner confirmed, and following the plot of Tron the Next Day, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to guess that Dan Shore would reprise his role as Ram. As for the antagonist, Cillian Murphy's uncredited cameo in Legacy was reportedly going to be expanded, as Edward Dillinger Jr. was to take center stage as the film's lead villain, who would be possibly aided by a new, even more sentient version of the Master Control program. And as for the plot, Kosinski confirmed that Ascension would be an invasion movie, with the first act taking place in the real world, the second transporting the characters to the digital world, and the third act bringing them back to the real world for the finale. Moreover, the story would have been a character study of Korra as a sort of fish out of water who possesses the ability to make things from the grid permanent in reality. With the script being 80% done, and pre-production well underway, it seemed like a sure thing. And if you've seen Ares, you can no doubt spot what has been recycled and brought into the new story. But how effective that adaptation is largely based on your own opinion of the movie. But regardless of whether Tron Ares left you unsatisfied or hungry for more, the story and the script for Tron Ascension is ready to go, according to Hedlund, who stated, "The intended script still exists and there's a possibility of it moving forward." And that takes us to the one thing that Disney has to do. Of course, rewrites will have to take place to complete the rest of the script and adjust the changes made in Ares, but all that Disney has to do is listen to the fans. And that's it. It really is that simple. I mean, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You're still here?
No, in all seriousness, that's exactly what they have to do. Because at the time I'm writing and recording this, The Hollywood Reporter has reported that Disney may try to quietly retire the franchise for good after Ares' disappointing opening box office. But it's important to note that these reports have been largely unconfirmed, so hope does still exist, in whatever form it may take. But in a world where box office is king, it begs the question, what type of film would Tron 4 need to be to rescue the franchise as a whole? And that's a question that has really stuck with me. And in last week's video, I think I got a little bit closer to that answer, as I was able to hear directly from the fans. In these comments, fans alike laid out their love, frustrations, hopes, and dreams for the Tron franchise. And then it occurred to me, that's the movie. It was right there in the comment section. The path to a fourth Tron movie that fans would actually like and go out to see. It's a blueprint of what to stay away from and what to lean towards. A movie for the fans, by the fans. And I know that sounds crazy to say. It's impossible to please everyone. And personally, I don't believe that a script should bow down to the fans, but it is important to consider what they'll be receptive to. Although the overall love for Tron came through in the responses of the fans, what came through even louder was their frustration. Frustrated at Disney's handling of Tron as a whole, the mismanagement and cancellation of Tron Uprising, and the 15-year wait for Tron Ares, only for the movie to largely abandon the characters and storylines that they had fallen in love with previously. It's a lot, but the elephant in the room was clearly Ares. It's one of the big reasons why we're all talking about Tron again in the mainstream, but in the same breath, it has exposed how Disney has neglected it. From all of this, the four biggest complaints that I saw were The missed opportunity of not continuing Legacy's story exactly as it was designed, not having more Legacy characters have a role in the new movie, with special emphasis being placed on the return of Bruce Boxleitner as Alan Bradley in Tron. And moving away from the movies, people were also upset that Tron Uprising was never given a second season. And lastly, really having nothing to do with the film or the series individually, time and time again, those who shared their opinion focused on the feeling of feeling ignored and being tired of being ignored. They spoke on the repeating pattern of the fans wanting one thing and Disney delivering something completely different. Now I just want to make something completely clear. I am not the voice of the fans, nor are the opinions and data I'm drawing from comprehensive by any means, but within them, trends exist, and they're really hard to ignore sometimes. But on the bright side, compared to their underlying frustrations, what the fans wanted was really rather simple. They just wanted more of what they fell in love with as a kid, or fell back in love with as an adult. The return of characters who made the movies part of what they were, a continuation of the stories they liked, and the questions they asked to be answered. And all of this matters because movies are a part of people's lives. They help us form memories and connections with those we love, something that can be passed down, something that can be shared. And when I went to the movie theaters to see Ares, I saw the same thing happening. Parents taking their kids and further sharing the experience. To be completely transparent, I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
I only mention it to tell you that a bias exists on my end, but I didn't let it affect the video. Because although I am among the Tron fans who did not care for the film, there are those who did, and I think that's awesome, truly. You spent your hard-earned money, went to the movie theaters, and saw a movie that you liked. I mean, how can I be mad at that? But at the end of the day, I would argue the recipe is quite simple for a fourth Tron movie. Reward the fans for their dedication, but write it in a way that isn't blatant fan service, and instead pushes the movie forward. And in turn, let the success of the movie and its impact speak for itself. And I know with Disney's general practices with the Tron franchise, this can all seem like a pipe dream, an impossibility. And truth be told, maybe it seems like this whole video is a practice of hope rather than practicality. But Garrett Hedlund himself says he thinks we'll see Sam again in the future. So hope does exist. The Tron Ascension script is out there, waiting to be made. And by the sound of it, it looks like it has the core of what fans want. But until then, it really is screenplay or bust. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. It really helps with the channel. And comment down below, would you be interested in seeing the story of Tron Ascension on the big screen? If not, what would make your perfect Tron movie? Even if you have any lingering thoughts on Tron or Tron Ares, comment down below, because I want to hear it. Until then, thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll see you next week.